Hey there, everybody. Wonderful to be here. So I'm curious, are you ever worried about only child syndrome? Should you be? That's exactly what I'm going to talk about today, but I'm also going to cover 4 ways to get your only sharing in a stellar way, in a way that can be fun and easy on your part as well. And if you haven't yet signed up for the Peaceful Parenting Solutions, pardon me, Stubborn Child Solutions Facebook group, it's a really awesome community of moms. Please come and join me there where you'll get more tips just like this. So what I want to do is I actually want to pull up my new book called Love Parenting, 9 Steps to Get Your Stubborn Child to Actually Listen Without Bribing, Nagging, and Yelling. So you can finally create that peaceful home I feel everyone deserves. So this comes from the only child syndrome. I get this a lot. I get questions of like, does it automatically sentence them to being spoiled? The answer is fortunately no, but let's figure out what we can do to make sure that this isn't the case. So I have here Julie and Jack. They're a creative dynamo married team who run a beloved theater school in my old island community. I think they may have said it best. They said it's not about supporting kids to feel like the North Star, but supporting each child to brilliantly sparkle within a constellation of stars. So here's an important question. Are only children more prone to spoiled child syndrome, being that North Star? A lot of people might say like, oh, they're an only child, so they must be spoiled. And many believe this. Without siblings, it's understandable because without siblings to naturally compete for toy resources and parents' attention, an only child might become spoiled. Yet being an only child doesn't automatically sentence you to being spoiled. Phew. For a minute, I was worried there because I am an only child. So while your solo star might have more gravitational pull to command your universe, it doesn't mean they get to hoard all the stars and planets. You know what I mean? It's essential to teach them that while love is infinite, the material galaxy is not, including the toys that other kids might want to play with. The reality is parenting an only child means the child to attention ratio is a whopping 1-to-1. Sometimes it's even more than that when they have 2 parents in the room. Yet I want you to think of your only like a solo act in a talent show. Sure, they've got the whole stage, but it doesn't mean like they're acting like a total diva or divo off stage. It doesn't mean they're demanding their drinking water to be 62.5 degrees and having a hissy fit because they don't like the color of a mic. Well, some onlys, present company excluded, of course, may grow up to be narcissistic, self-centered, and a little bit antisocial. The word only child, that status, doesn't have to equal spoiled. So whether an only is spoiled or not all depends upon how they're nurtured. And this is where you come in. So there are 2 things that I want you to be really mindfully aware of. I'm just writing this down. Sometimes I get ideas when I'm talking to you here. So the 2 things are this. 1, are you exposing them to healthy sharing opportunities where they're not the center of attention? And 2, are you giving them life experience where they can develop a healthy perspective about their place in the world, more as a team member? So these are some of the reasons that during the preschool years, I agreed to childcare for a couple of friends 3 times a week. Sharing mama for my only child was a bit of an adjustment, but it provided an awesome experience at, so to speak, sharing that mic, sharing that stage. So a decade later, I actually invited international students into our home, which I'll tell you a little bit later about why that provided even the late night giggles and the squabbles and the crazy adventures was such a good thing for us. So if you've got an only and worry about perpetuating the only spoiled child myth, I've got you covered. So there are actually 8 ways to help your only child develop stellar sharing skills. I want to cover 4 of them today, just with the time allotted. So the first one I'm sure know about, but I want to make some tweaks to it so that you're doing it in a way that really works well. These are play dates. And this is like the ultimate sharing boot camp. So think of play dates as the minor leagues in that big game of your child's life. They're the perfect practice camp for your child to discover that not every toy grab is a home run. Sometimes they have to sit out in the dugout of patience and wait for their turn to bat, right? By the way, So there's one playdate rule I have borrowed from the timeless wisdom of my grandma Helena, who navigated raising 7 kiddos and many, many sibling squabbles with her 13 brothers and sisters. And some of these you might want to adopt as well. So consider it like the one toy treaty move. Before your child embarks on their playdate voyage, ask them, is there a special toy you'd like to reserve that you don't have anybody share with you? So I want you to have them choose a toy that they can safely stow away in a peaceful harbor called the no share zone. Now, this savvy strategy not only teaches kids boundaries and respect for others' prized possessions by learning it and realizing how it feels for them, but it also gently steers them towards the warm waters of sharing the rest. It's a simple yet brilliant diplomatic move in rowing towards a peacekeeping play date mission. After all, even pirates had codes of honor regarding booty, didn't they? Here's the second thing. The second way to teach your only some stellar sharing habits is around, I call it like ensemble cast adventures. If your child is a solo act, group activities are the perfect stage for their social debut. So let them jam with a theater troupe, march with the school band, or enjoy high fives among a sports team. Add in a coach who's less of a drill sergeant and more inspirational mentor. And these experiences of sharing, passing the ball, or knowing when to wait their turn and get up on that stage can turn these group activities into harmony of learned cooperation. So, for me, it's some people ask me, okay, well, what's the best school, Kelly? Or what's the best activity? It all comes down to your child. You know your child best. So, what is their passion? What are they interested in? And even maybe more importantly, what's the adult like? Does the adult in charge get your kid? Because this can make or break any group activity for your child. The third one, friends and extended family. So this is like the sibling simulator. So cousins and family gatherings can provide fabulous sibling understudies for your little one. Sleepovers and holidays together can even mimic sibling dynamics like a charm and even put a spotlight on the beauty of togetherness. My own son, the reigning only grandchild, got a crash course in this when we hosted a lot of international exchange students over the years, which I mentioned before. So imagine my big fat Greek wedding, but with teenagers from around the globe, breakfast pancakes, diverse passports, and a huge patchwork of personalities, fears, and needs. This was the perfect pseudo sibling life crash course, but it had like also cultural steroids put in there too. The next one I want to talk about is solo play. Actually, before I go on to that, you might not be ready for international students, but maybe I really recommend, looking for group activities or opportunities where there's also different age ranges, not just keeping your child within their cohort age-wise, because oftentimes you might find your only really takes to helping a younger child along, or they really look up to that oldest that they can kind of see as, their rock star hero that they can follow around. So look for those. The last one that I want to talk about today is solo play, which is really like the imagination station. So you, my dear friend, don't need to be the perpetual cruise director of their playtime. After all, solo play can be a sandbox of creativity. So I just suggest, probably already done this, but making sure you equip your child with simple tools like blocks, couch cushions, pots, pans, and watch their imagination flourish. I'm constantly amazed if there's lots of nature programs around. If you take kids out into nature and there's sticks, rocks, water, dirt, they figure it out, and brilliantly so. So hand over the crayons and let your child enjoy space to create their own little Da Vinci doodles. After all, not every game needs two players. So think of solitaire. Sometimes the most imaginative tales are also told solo. My kind of pseudo granddaughter in my life, I watch her. She's just turning 3. She'll be turning 3. But even before bed, her parents have her monitor on, and it's a really brilliant, beautiful thing to watch where she will talk with her stuffies for half an hour, sometimes more before she falls asleep. She has whole conversations and she's downloading her day. This is precious, precious time. My Aussie cousin, Rakaya, she's really a natural in the art of love parenting. And I believe she cracked the code on not being her eldest 24/7 entertainment center. She also understood that her self care was something to protect and honor. And with a stroke of practical genius, every morning, post toast and Vegemite, likely, she set the 10-minute timer for quiet reading time at home. Then she'd sip her tea, engrossed in her latest novel, while her little one embarked on solo play adventures. Now, I just want you to take that in. It's really a splendid scene. Mom is flipping pages, child deep in play, and their house is like humming with that mutual quiet contentment. Proof that sometimes the best way to teach independence is to lead by cozy and quiet examples. So I want to know from you, do you have an only that you're concerned about? Do you find that maybe you and your spouse are the instigators in all the play? Are you concerned that at the dinner table, the sole focus is on them? If so, I'd love to hear from you. What are you concerned about? What are you struggling with? Or what have you combated that you have been like, yay, us, we figured this one out? Any tricks or hacks to the trade? I would love to hear them. And before we go, I just want to remind you, thank you on behalf of your family. I dearly want to thank you for all you do day in, day out that often goes unnoticed. I get it. And parenting, especially a stubborn child, is more difficult. It just plain is. And so if you have that stubborn child, kudos to you. I know it's not a sprint, it is a marathon, but you are doing it. So lots of love to you until we meet again. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.